I'm Eddie Garcia, co-host of the Puck Podcast with your Puck Podcast Hockey Minute, a recap of the night in the NHL, and a look ahead to upcoming action. There were 9 games in the NHL on Thursday. We'll start with a big Atlantic Division battle as the Panthers beat the Maple Leafs in Toronto 3-2. Sam Bennett led the defending champs with a pair of power play goals, numbers 21 and 22 on the season for him. Florida has now won 7 of 8. As for the Leafs in the loss, John Tavares scored his 22nd of the season. However, with that win for Florida, Panthers now have a 4-point lead over Toronto atop the Atlantic Division. Panthers with 85 points, Maple Leafs with 81 points. Florida now 2-0 against Toronto head-to-head this season, and the two teams will meet 2 more times before the end of the regular season. The Kings shut off the Capitals 3-0 behind 21 saves from goalie Darcy Kemper in his first game against the team that traded him to LA last season. The Kings have the best home record in the NHL, improving to 22-3-4 on home ice. The Capitals came in with the best road record in the NHL, but they fell to 22-8-2 with the loss. Kevin Fiala scored his 25th of the season for LA, while Quentin Byfield added his 16th. He's got 5 goals in 5 straight games. Also, former King Pierre-Luc Dubois traded from the Kings to the Capitals in the offseason for Darcy Kemper, played his first game back in LA, was booed throughout by the crowd. Obviously, no points for Alexander Ovechkin, as he remains 9 away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record now with just 16 games left to go this regular season. The Oilers lost to the Devils 3-2 for New Jersey. Jesper Bratt had a goal, his 19th, and 2 assists in the win. And the loss for Edmonton, Leon Draisaitl scored his NHL-leading 47th goal of the season. But the Oilers have now lost 8 of 11, and that loss and the Kings win has moved LA into second place in the Pacific with 79 points. The Oilers are 1 point back now with 78 points in the battle for home ice in a potential first-round playoff rematch between those two teams. Senators beat the Bruins 6-3 for their 5th straight win. Drake Batherson had a pair of goals, numbers 17 and 18, and goalie Linus Ullmark beat his old team with 22 saves in net. In the loss for Boston, David Pastrnak scored his 34th goal of the season, and goalie Jeremy Swayman allowed 4 goals on 15 shots and was pulled after the first period. The Pacific Division leading Golden Knights shut out the Blue Jackets 4-0 in Columbus behind 27 saves from goalie Aiden Hill. More news on him in a second. Pavel Dorofeev added his 26th goal of the season, and Jack Eichel had an assist. He is now the new franchise leader for points in a season, 79 and counting, as he has passed teammate William Karlsson for that record. The Blue Jackets dropped to 1-4 since their big win in the Stadium Series game. Mentioned Aiden Hill, the goaltender for the Vegas Golden Knights, got a new 6-year, $37.5 million contract extension today. He'll make $6.25 million per season. The Rangers got a much-needed 2 points with a 3-2 overtime win over the Wild. Defenseman Braden Schneider scored the overtime game winner for New York, and now the wild card race in the East, certainly interesting right now. Ottawa, the number 1 wild card team with 75 points. The number 2 wild card team is Columbus with 70, but the Rangers are right there with 70 points as well, although Columbus does have 1 game in hand on New York, but a very interesting Eastern Conference wildcard race. Meanwhile, the Blues fell to the Penguins 5-3. Ryan Graves and Connor Dewar each scored their first goals of the season for Pittsburgh. Ricard Raquel added his 30th in the win, and Tristan Jarry improved to 3-0 since returning to the team after a brief stint in the minors. In the loss for St. Louis, Dylan Holloway scored his 21st of the year, and Jordan Bennington was pulled after allowing 4 goals through 2 periods. Loss like that, obviously not good for the St. Louis Blues wildcard hopes. Right now, it's Minnesota with 79 points, the number 1 wildcard team in the West. Calgary is the number 2 wildcard team with 71 points. Vancouver also 71 points. The Canucks, though, have played 1 more game than the Flames. Then you've got the Utah Hockey Club and the St. Louis Blues, each with 69 points, 2 points out of the final wildcard spot in the West. Lightning lost to the Flyers 4-3 in a shootout for Philadelphia. Bobby Brink had a pair of goals, numbers 9 and 10. Owen Tippett scored the shootout game winner. And the Sharks knocked off the Blackhawks 4-2. Colin Graff had his first multi-goal game of his NHL career. 2 goals, numbers 3 and 4 on the season. Tyler Toffoli added his 25th of the year. Coming up on Friday tonight, 6 games in the NHL at 7 Eastern. The Red Wings, looking to get back into that wild card race in the East, are playing against the Hurricanes on the road. Carolina's won 5 in a row. 7:30 Eastern, the Oilers are at the Islanders with 2 points. Edmonton can reclaim second place in the Pacific Division from LA. 8 Eastern, it's the matchup of the night. Top 2 teams in the Central Division going head-to-head as the Jets are hosting the Stars. 9 Eastern, the Avalanche are at the Flames. And at 10 Eastern, the Ducks host the Predators, while the Kraken are at home against the Utah Hockey Club. I'm Eddie Garcia. If you like this, please subscribe and like our YouTube channel and get notified when our latest shows are out. And check out our podcast recapping the entire past week in the NHL every Monday morning, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Puck Podcast.